Okay, everybody. Ugh. Making noises already. Not supposed to be making noises yet. Okay, we're live. Sweet. Hello. So it's Pi Day. It's also Throwback Thursday, and so I have a bunch of cool, well, I think it's cool stuff. Oh no, it's already showing one of the, spoiler alert. Anyway, we've got 3 projects. It's not 3.14, it's just 3. Sorry. And they are all related to Pi Day in different ways. So this first one is related to Pi Day because it's made with an empanada. And there's this sort of debate about Pi Day versus Tau Day, because technically, like, the circumference of a pi is 2 pi r, which is tau r. But also, if you just say pi times the diameter, then that kind of also works. But if you're a stickler for the 2 pi r thing, you can count an empanada as the proper pi for Pi Day because it's only half of a circle! Anyway, I don't think anyone actually cares that much. But yeah, so I made an empanada into a synthesizer using some touch code from Adafruit. They have created this touch tone synthesizer for the Adafruit Playground Express. This thingamajig, and so... But it's got more like, more sound effects and stuff in the original code, so I changed it to be more of an octave type deal. I stole their code, which usually you would use with a custom PCB that you mill on the Bantam desktop PCB mill, which is super cool. And I mashed it up with this concept, which broke late last year, this idea that you can use Vegemite as basically a substitute for bare conductive touch paint, because it's 8.25% salt. So per 100 grams of this, this is the Australian Vegemite, you have, I grew up with Marmite, which is the British version of this, but apparently their formulations are a little bit different. They're both made of ground up yeast, whose shells have been removed, and the nutrition information says that per 100 grams of this, there are 8.25 grams of salt. So yeah, it's 8.25% salt, which means that it's pretty good. I actually haven't tried this with a multimeter yet, mainly because I haven't been bothered to wash the contacts of the multimeter with soap and water, because I actually do like this stuff, and I think it made the empanada taste better in the end. Anyway, you can make circuits with Vegemite. It's great. It's like a salty, delicious thing, and then you can eat it! Yay! So, combining these concepts, we have created and present you with the Synthenida. It was like a choice between Empathizer, which is kind of too similar to Empathizer, but then Synthenida, kind of good. Anyway, you can watch the demo here and actually hear it with sound, which you're not going to be able to do right now, except that you just kind of heard it on this. But I go through the whole programming process and stuff, and how to modify the thing. It's programmed in make code, which is really great because you can switch between block code like this and JavaScript. So I actually have that sketch pulled up here, and you can see this is a little bit disorganized, but this is the end sketch that we ended up with. And you can swap over to JavaScript really easily. So it's a great way, I think, to start moving from a block code, Scratch or Blockly style of code to text code. And there's other ones where you can use MicroPython or block code as well. But this thing is great for learners because it's got a buzzer, it's got a microphone, a switch, an accelerometer, 2 buttons, all these touchable pads, you know, a ring of 10 neopixels and a spot for a lithium polymer battery, and it's really easy to program, and it's even got a light sensor as well. I think it's got, yeah, it's got infrared transmit and receive LED and sensor and a temperature. It's got everything on this thing, and it's not, I think it's like 30 bucks. So it's a great way for you to start out, and why not make a Synthenida? Because it's Pi Day. So if you've been looking for a project to do with this, all you need is basically some toothpicks, some Vegemite, a substrate, which in this case is the empanada. I had to flip it upside down because that's where the flat side is. Pro tip. And yeah, that's it. and your Circuit Playground Express and a computer to program it with. Yeah, I think this worked pretty great. The weird thing is that my empanada was being recognized as ground, so I had to use a stylus to play it. I had wanted to create little pads that came off of it in some kind of beautiful way, and you would touch those, but A, my fingers would have been way more salty, and B, since the empanada itself is ground, I just used a stylus to sort of connect the pads with those little soggy blobs of Vegemite on the empanada. It was delicious. It was great. Oh yeah, you can follow the whole build process on Twitter here, on my personal Twitter. Project number 2 is in honor of today also being Throwback Thursday. So, I created Apple Newtons! We have these things that are basically hipster Fig Newtons, right? So, if you look at these, that's exactly what they are, right? You've got this sort of figgy filling here, and then a sort of crust exterior. And they're even called fig bars in a very legal, very cool, very non-copyright infringing way. And they're made by Nature's Bakery with stone-ground whole wheat, 0 grams of trans fat, dairy-free, etc., etc. No, anyway, they're basically Apple Fig Newtons, right? And Apple Newtons, it's obvious. So I go through in this blog post the various troubleshooting steps with the Glowforge that I had to make these. The resolution is not great, and that's because these do not conform to any particular one of the proof grade materials, which is Glowforge's sort of series of materials that they guarantee will work, and they have built-in settings that are designed to work really well with those particular materials. However, obviously, you have to buy those materials from them directly, and I don't want to do that. I just want to use whatever, and I didn't want to monkey around with settings for, a couple hours. It's a work day, and so I just used a couple of different ones of those. I used the maple setting for this, and I'm using the medium settings because these are about 1/2 inch thick, and I think the medium proof grade materials are also about 1/2 inch thick, and I used the medium cherry plywood settings for these ones. The reason they have different colors is because I've been hanging on to these ones for about 6 months or so, waiting for the day when I would get to make this project, and it just so happened to be today, so I'm really excited to finally get this out of my head and into the world. And then these ones are much fresher, and they actually smell really nice, and I might actually eat those afterwards. But you're not supposed to eat stuff that you put in the Glowforge after you've cut other stuff in it. When I did the first project in this series, which was the Instagrams, almost exactly a year ago, also by happenstance, these were the first things I ever cut on the Glowforge, and so it was sort of perfect. I teach you how to grab your pictures from Instagram in the highest quality possible, and how to align them and use the right settings and stuff. Both of these I was using wood because I figure it's plant matter. It's gonna be pretty similar. And then yeah, this time around, also wood. Why are you not working? Ah! Oh boy. Anyway, so Apple Newtons. The logo comes out really nice because it's pretty crisp. It's very bold, and so it doesn't really matter if the resolution isn't the best, which is probably partly because of the substrate, but also probably partly because it doesn't match thickness with the proof grade materials exactly, and so it's going to be a little unfocused. This one actually came out surprisingly well. I can kind of see the Newton logo on there, and the couple lines of text, and the little line of interaction logos in the shape of the Newton. So I'm really pleased with that one, actually. This was in the second round. And then this one is the sort of classic, retro, original Apple logo, which you really can't. That one did not come out great. Where's the original that I was going from on this? If you're not familiar, this is what the original logo for Apple looked like. A blank white page. Hilarious. Come on, there we go. So this has Apple Computer Co. and it's got a picture of Isaac Newton on there, which is also why this is appropriate to this particular project. You can kind of like, the computer kind of comes through, but it really isn't. The Co maybe? I don't know. Anyway, on to project number 3, which is, oh yeah, the push to SMS. Oh yeah, you can find that previous blog post on our blog, which you should be following. It's blog.hackster.io. It's on Medium. It's really easy to follow and stuff. And you can give us all the claps because we make the best stuff. And I can't look at this or else I end up losing hours of my life. Anyway, project number 3 is this SMS button with Twilio, which I'm not going to demonstrate right now, but is for a Pi Day gathering tonight with Pi Ladies SF. So it's Pi. We're gonna eat pie, we're gonna play with Raspberry Pis. This is a Raspberry Pi project. We're gonna program with Python, and it's gonna be fantastic. So it's a Python project, as I mentioned, that hooks up to Twilio's API, which is used for phone, texting, voice stuff, etc. And they're also like moving beyond that with their own SIM cards. Where's that? Here we go. Pretty cool. They're moving on to this sort of programmable wireless idea with these SIM cards that they've been giving out. And it comes with the SIM card and a little sort of info sheet. Very cool. It doesn't have a... just pretend that didn't... you definitely didn't see anything important there. Anyway. So, Twilio. Yeah, doing really cool stuff. And we are going to be running this workshop. You can learn how to push a button on your Raspberry Pi and easily send an SMS. I think, honestly, just learning how to push a button on your Pi and make something happen is a really useful thing for a lot of people. You can learn how to do it by soldering to the button, do it with a breadboard. You can obviously also replace the button with a sensor if you want to put in sensor code instead, so that, like, if a moisture sensor senses that your basement is filling with water, then you will get an SMS notification, for example, with this Twilio code. Very cool. So you can see a little demo video, and I'm really excited to make this event happen tonight. We're being sponsored with a venue by PubNub. Very cool. Another sort of subscription machine-to-machine communication thingamajig, and notifications and whatnot. There's some troubleshooting there. The thing with software is that you generally will have weird problems that you don't necessarily get, but Google is your friend. All I did was Google this error, and it was easily solvable. It's a little slow on our dedicated machine network, but that is just based on your Wi-Fi connection. So I'm really stoked about this one. Alright, and then that one, you can check out Twilio for more information about this. And check out your local Pi Ladies org. There is an SF chapter of this, but there's all kinds of different groups around, at least the country. Oh, and the world! Look at this! Look at how many Pi Ladies groups there are! What a cool Pi Day. This is the first time I've actually been able to make it to one of their meetups, and I'm super excited. So, here we have the Synthonata. Check that out. Should probably make a bit link for that. The Apple Newtons, which are on our blog, blog.hackster.io, where there's all kinds of tempting things that I cannot look at. Tomorrow is going to be Fundum Friday, and there's also a Now Funding section. And then finally, the SMS button with Twilio. Super easy, super fun. What's more fun than pushing a button and sending a text to yourself over and over and over again? Anyway, have an awesome Pi Day. I hope you get to eat at least as much pie as me, which is going to be a lot, so prepare yourselves. And we'll see you tomorrow for Fundum Friday. Ciao!